Well, the Victorian government is planning to introduce new laws to crack down on anti-Semitism following the recent firebombing of the Adass Israel Synagogue in Melbourne. Now, according to the Sunday Herald Sun, the reforms being discussed include new police powers to break up protests involving religious hatred and extremism, as well as bans on face coverings and signs promoting religious hatred at those protests. They're also expected to ban protests outside places of worship. Now, I have a couple of problems with this, Kel, because the rise of anti-Semitism in Australia is not a failure of the law, it is a failure of social cohesion.
Yes.
Social division has been sowed in this country by governments. We now see the obvious result of that, and they then run around saying, well, we must now come up with a new law to solve that problem. It's not the law that was the problem. It wasn't a deficiency in the law that caused this. It was you not doing anything to actually lead. And now we're told we need more restrictions on our freedoms in order to stop what they allowed to happen in the first place.
Yeah, look, what should happen here is there was a brilliant piece by Janet Albrechtsen in the Weekend Australian. And she said if they'd acted earlier, not Victoria, but the federal government, the Albanese government, what he should have done was on the 10th of October 2023, the day after those disgraceful demonstrations at the Sydney Opera House, had an emergency recall of Parliament, passed a motion condemning anti-Semitism, had an impact on our culture. And she's saying what he needed to do at that point was simply to rewrite slightly the incitement to violence laws. The incitement to violence laws could be expanded to cover anti-Semitism, so that you take out the idea you've got to specifically incite one person to do something. If you're just inciting generally, which is what that would cover anti-Semitism, and there's a very silly defence of good faith, you'd take that out too. She said if we'd done that, then 14 months ago, the cultural development you're talking about would not have happened. The whole point is the Albanese government did not act. They did nothing. They sat on their hands except to go to the United Nations and vote against Israel and in favour of giving as much as possible to a non-existent Palestinian state. And every time they did that, it changes the atmosphere and the culture that you're talking about here. And all the pro-Palestinians see that that's how we're voting in the United Nations, and they're back on the streets again saying, we hate Jews. So not only have they done nothing that would have fixed the cultural problem you're talking about, they've inflamed it.